Would you build a workbench out of walnut? How about a cutting board out of cedar? Or maybe a dining table out of plywood? And if you're not completely sure, don't worry, most beginners aren't. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which material to use for almost every single woodworking project and why. One of the biggest mistakes that beginners make isn't buying bad wood, it's buying the wrong wood for the project. Sometimes spending more is absolutely worth it. Other times you're just wasting money. This is MDF, also known as medium density fiber board. It's an engineered wood and it's made from compressed wood fibers and resin. It's very smooth. There is no grain. It's actually very heavy and dense, and it's extremely flat. But how is it to work with? Well, it cuts quite easily, it drills pretty cleanly, and it sands easily. Although you don't want to really oversand it either because it can really open up the pores that are in the inside and it kind of gets weird. It does take paint very nice. It has a great smooth finish for paint. But as you might expect, it does not stain well. Matter of fact, it might stain well, but I'm not really sure. You'd like the way it looks if you stained it. It's also a little bit hard on cutting tools because it has so many other things in it other than wood. It has a lot of resins and glues and things that bind it together. It does create a lot of fine dust when you're cutting it too. Is it worth the money? Well, pound for pound, it's pretty inexpensive and it's a great value for painted interior projects. And if you've ever gotten MDF wet, you know it's not a very good choice in wet environments. So what should you actually build with it? It's actually really good for painted cabinet boxes. In fact, a lot of the cabinets you have in your home may have MDF cabinet boxes. It's great for built-ins, it's great for shop templates or shop jigs. But like I said, I would definitely avoid any outdoor projects or wet areas. Also, because it's made of very short, small fibers, I would try to avoid any heavy-duty structural projects. And because of these shorter fibers, if you put a screw or something near the edge of this board, it very well could tear out. So when you're working with it, you just need to be kind of careful. So if I'm painting something indoors that will stay dry and isn't very structural, MDF is definitely one of the first materials that I consider. This is plywood. It's made from thin layers of wood glued together. It's incredibly stable and it comes in many grades and thicknesses. It's available with different face veneers too. You could even get it in walnut. And it doesn't really expand or contract as much as solid wood. So how is it to work with? It cuts relatively easily, but it is important to use a good sharp blade, otherwise you could get a lot of splintering or tear out. And with this super thin veneer, you really don't want to over sand it, so you got to be a little bit careful when you're doing that. There is grain on here, but it's usually relatively fine, so it can be hidden pretty well with paint. You can stain plywood, but how well that works out for you kind of depends on the quality of the plywood and the species of the veneer that you're using. It does hold screws pretty well in the face. You're going to have to do some sort of banding or something to cover the edge grain because most people don't like that look. Now, I also have seen some people make furniture that actually accentuates the plywood end grain. So I guess you could do that. I'm not really a fan of that. Much like MDF, there's a lot of binders in here that hold all these layers together. So it's incredibly important to use some sort of dust collection and hopefully a dust mask as well. Is it worth the money? Honestly, plywood is one of the best values in woodworking. You can actually buy cabinet grade plywood for nicer furniture, and then you can even go to Baltic birch for premium projects. But don't overspend on high quality plywood if it's in an area that nobody's going to see it. One of the things that you do get with the higher quality plywood is less knots. This is a pretty decent piece, and you may get thicker veneers as well. So what would I actually build with plywood? I like to build cabinets with this, especially the carcasses. Not necessarily the faces, but these are great for carcasses, especially if you want a heavy duty strong cabinet, because like I say, most are made out of MDF. This actually has long grains, not like the MDF, so you can use it for shelves or things that are structural. You can use it for shop furniture. You can build drawer boxes out of it, but like I said, I wouldn't use it for the faces because you got to deal with this end grain. You can use it for various types of jigs or table saw sleds. If you've seen the rest of my channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can use plywood to build a workbench top. I would avoid things like cutting boards, All those resins can't be good for food, and it wouldn't make a very good looking cutting board. I don't think I'd use it for furniture legs or things like that because, again, you got to deal with this end grain, which is kind of undesirable. And plywood tends to not really hold up too great for outdoor use either, unless it's specifically exterior rated. If it's a functional build that needs to stay flat, plywood is usually my first choice. I think most of you will recognize the next one. This is pine. It's a softwood and has a very light color. This is the Select wood from Home Depot, and there's usually a lot less knots in it. It's pretty light, but it also dents pretty easily. If you've been to any of the big box stores and you've bought construction grade pine, it's very likely you're going to see twisting and warping. So how is it to work with? It's pretty beginner friendly. It cuts easily, it drills pretty easily, it paints pretty well, especially the Select stuff that you can buy. It's quite smooth, actually, and it can stain pretty well, although every now and then you'll get some blotchiness. But it is soft, so it is possible that you might get threads ripping out a little easier than with some hardwood. Is it worth the money? Pine is one of the least expensive woods, so that makes it fantastic for learning and especially great for beginner projects, and it's easy to find. You can find it at pretty much any big box store. So what should you build with pine? Because pine is so inexpensive, it's great for beginner woodworking projects. It's also great for things like shop furniture or garage cabinets. Like I said before, it paints pretty well, so it's good for painted furniture. It has nice long grain, so it's pretty strong. You can use it for shelving. I've even built a lot of rustic furniture with pine, and I like to kind of beat it up and distress it. Pine's great for stuff like that because you don't have to worry about destroying nice wood. It's almost always used in construction. All your 2x4s in your house are probably made out of pine. I would avoid fine furniture with pine though. It's just kind of soft, and it just doesn't really look as nice as something like an oak or walnut. And because it's so soft, you might also want to avoid any high wear surfaces like a dining room table. If you're just getting started, pine is a great place to start. I see you're still watching, so you must be learning something new. I'd really appreciate it if you consider subscribing. My goal is to help beginner woodworkers build with confidence. This next one is poplar. It's technically a hardwood. It has straight grain and has kind of a cream color with green or purple streaks in it. Kind of unique. It often surprises people because it's inexpensive for a hardwood. So how is it to work with? Well, it cuts pretty easily, it drills cleanly, and it sands really well. It also takes paint extremely well, but it doesn't always stain very evenly. It's not really a very nice looking grain. But is it worth the money? It is one of the least expensive hardwoods, and it's a great choice if you're painting. And if you're building a project, I'd recommend things that are going to be painted. A lot of people even use poplar for cabinet faces. It's got this nice long grain structure, so it should be nice and strong. I would, however, avoid any outdoor projects or super premium stained furniture. But if I'm building some cabinet faces or some furniture that'll be painted, poplar is almost always my first choice. It's super economical and paints really well. Now this is oak, specifically white oak. Red and white oak aren't the same. White oak is much more water resistant, making it better for outdoor projects. It's super duper strong and heavy, very dense. It has a beautiful grain. When people are thinking of a beautiful hardwood piece of furniture, they're probably thinking of oak. So how's it to work with? It cuts super cleanly, it sands pretty nicely, and it takes stain beautifully. But I think it's really important not to use too dark of a stain because I don't like to cover up the grain. That's just my opinion. And it is harder on tools than pine or poplar because it's so hard. But is oak worth the money? It's honestly a pretty great value for hardwood. It looks premium without walnut prices. So what would you build with it? Well, it's great for tables of all kinds, dining tables or end tables, other types of furniture. I built a laundry room countertop out of this because it's so hard and durable. You could use it for building the faces of cabinets. You could use it for building cosmetic shelves. I wouldn't waste the money on oak if it's going to be something that's hidden in a closet. Now this is white oak. I would avoid using red oak outdoors or for something like a cutting board because of its open pores. So my final thoughts on white oak. If I want strength and beautiful grain, oak is hard to beat. I especially love the look of white oak. And before I move on to the next one, leave me a comment and let me know which is your favorite wood to work with and why. Now let's move on to maple. There's actually several different types of maple. There's hard maple, there's soft maple. and a few other variants as well that are more cosmetic. For this video, I'm just going to be talking about hard maple. Maple is light in color. It has a very tight, closed grain. This hard maple is also very durable and dent resistant, and it has a really nice modern look. So how is it to work with maple? Because it's harder than most woods, sharp blades can really help, but it's still really easy to burn if you're not careful. It does sand really nice, but you may need to do a little extra sanding because it's so hard. It doesn't always stain super evenly, but it looks great with a clear finish. Is maple worth the money? Well, it is a little bit expensive, but it's worth it when durability matters. What should you build with maple? Well, you can use maple for cutting boards. I especially like to use it for end grain cutting boards with walnut because I really like the contrast. You could use it for building a good solid workbench top or a countertop. You could even build a laundry room countertop or maybe even a kitchen countertop with it. You can build furniture with it, but honestly, like I said, I'd probably recommend painted furniture because it's so smooth and takes paint so well. I would avoid outdoor projects or budget builds. My favorite thing to build with maple is cabinet faces because it's so hard. So if you're building something that's going to take a beating, maple is the one that I go to. Walnut is probably my all-time favorite. I mean, just look at it. It's got this deep, rich color, and it's got an absolutely beautiful grain. This is a premium hardwood. And when you build with walnut, it makes pretty much any project look expensive, probably because it is going to be expensive. But how is walnut to actually work with? Well, it sands beautifully, it cuts cleanly, it takes finish really, really well, but I would highly recommend not using anything that covers up the natural beauty of walnut. In fact, anytime I use a finish on walnut, my goal is usually to preserve the finish and protect it and not change the look at all. When you are cutting with walnut, be sure to wear a dust mask because some people can really be affected by walnut dust. Dust collection is always recommended with any of these. Now, we know walnut is expensive, but here's the real question: is it worth the money? In my opinion, yes, it is worth it when appearance matters. But it is overkill if any of your work pieces aren't going to be seen. So with that big hefty price tag, what would you build with it? Well, I like to build desks with walnut. That's one of my favorite things. I just think that a rich, dark colored walnut desk is just the coolest thing ever. And you can also build lots of other fine furniture with it. You could build decorative boxes with it. You could build some fancy floating shelves with it. I would definitely avoid shop furniture. That just seems like major overkill. And like I said before, don't use it for anything hidden, even if it's like a structural part. It would actually work well as a structural part, but this stuff's really meant to be seen. So when I want to be fancy and I want a project to stand out, walnut's kind of hard to beat. And finally, this is cedar. It's incredibly lightweight. It's a softwood. It is naturally rot resistant, which is kind of a unique characteristic. This one is actually more specifically a piece of cedar fence picket. I really like to use fence pickets because they're great for outdoor projects when you don't want to spend a lot of money. Cedar also smells amazing. Forgot what I was doing for a second. And cedar, because of that natural rot resistance, is usually a good outdoor favorite. But how's it to work with? Well, cedar actually cuts extremely easy. It drills pretty easily and it sands pretty quickly, but it is very soft and it can dent pretty easily. Some people are very sensitive to cedar dust, so when you're working with it, be sure to use dust collection and a dust mask. Is cedar worth the money? Well, technically cedar does cost more than pine, but the way I usually do it with these cedar fence pickets, it's actually extremely cheap. It's not the highest quality cedar, as you can see, it's not very flat, but if I build projects that aren't super critical, this is usually what I reach for. But even if you're not buying fence pickets and you're actually spending decent money on cedar, it's worth it for outdoor projects. What would I build with this? That's a good question, Travis. What would you build with this? As you might expect, it's great for outdoor furniture. It's great for planters. I like to use it for bird feeders and birdhouses, stuff like that. You can also use it for pergolas. You can use it for fences or privacy screens. I would definitely avoid things like cutting boards. This stuff is not very hard, and I'm pretty sure it's toxic to eat. I mean, you wouldn't ordinarily just start eating wood, but the pieces of it are toxic. Again, it's pretty soft, so don't use it for something like a workbench or any high wear furniture. If you're building something outside, cedar is pretty much the wood that you should consider. Okay, so quick recap. MDF for painted indoor projects. Plywood for cabinet boxes and anything that needs to stay flat. Pine, it's perfect for budget and beginner projects. Poplar, it's great for painted furniture. Oak, traditional furniture, one of my favorites. Maple, projects that need to be durable and need to last. Walnut, for fine furniture or anytime you want to make something awesome. Cedar, outdoor projects. So the next time you're standing in the lumber aisle, don't ask yourself, what's the best wood? Ask yourself, what's the best material for this project? If you can answer that question, you're already ahead of where most beginners start. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe because I've got a lot more beginner woodworking videos coming. And if you're wondering what to watch next, it's this video right up here. And before you go, the last thing you need to do is hit that like button and leave me a comment. We'll see you guys in the next one.